What's going on, y'all? Thanks for checking in with Callie. Please like, subscribe if you haven't. I have to be completely honest. I'm surprised that the Clippers are playing this well, even without the services of Kawhi Leonard. Because we know how great Kawhi is when healthy. We know what he can do. We know he's a champion, defensive player of the year. He's all the above, all NBA, top 75 player. But when you look at this team, they are playing well without Kawhi. And I think the other night they didn't even have Norman Powell. He was actually out with like a hand injury, and they still found a way to come through and get a victory. And it's just been all really positivity with the Clippers, because when you think about, how they're playing right now, just collectively by committee, they're doing a very good job. And I'll give Ty Lue some credit. He is the one that's behind all this. So you got to give him some credit of his coaching. But wow, this team is really actually, trying to put themselves in the best position possible of being in the playoffs. Right now, they're like the seventh, they're the eighth seed right now currently, unless, another team loses and they go up or something like that, then it changes, But yeah, man, it's been great. I mean, honestly, I've been impressed. What I've seen with the Clippers so far. They're 9-7. They got a pretty good record. They're hanging in there, and that's all you can ask for. Because when you look at the other team that a former Clippers player, which is Paul George, is on in the Philadelphia 76ers, it is a disaster over there. And looking at their situation with all the talent that they have, and they're still losing games. And losing games that some games I feel like they should win. And it's just a catastrophe. And you look at the Clippers, they lost Kawhi Leonard due to health so far this season until he comes back. But they're playing a whole lot better with less talent. And and it's not really comparing the two teams 100%, but it's like when you look at one situation that Paul George went to rather than where he was, it just makes it look now like, wow, he should have just stayed with the Clippers, honestly. But he did get injured, shout out to him. Hopefully he gets healthy. But I mean, looking at the Clippers right now, I mean, they're a team that, most teams have to get up for every single night, because they're a team that's going to fight you to the end. They're a team that's going to have runs. They're a team that's going to have, that has a good scoring ability. And what they're doing this year more than any year, they're implementing Zubac a lot more, I'm saying, at least allowing him to feel engaged offensively to where it allows him to want to play better on the defensive end. And everybody else is like buying into the system. And, as long as that continues, I think the Clippers might be the surprising team, the most surprising team in the NBA going forward. I mean, I understand they might actually, have a 500 record, be playing about 500 basketball pretty much throughout the season until Kawhi comes back or until he gets right. But you got to give them credit. I mean, like I said, the way they're playing based upon the way a team like Philadelphia 76ers are playing with all their talent there, besides, Paul George going down, but he was there for several games here lately. But I mean, it's just horrible on that end. And you look at how the Clippers are playing. Did they ever really need Paul George? That looks like the question now. To some, maybe not to many, but to some. So, like I said, I've been impressed. And you've heard me say it in previous videos. You can go check them videos out. And I hope they find a way to keep it going, because I like what they got right now. I like their pieces. As I said before, I think their defense is a lot better than what people might actually even want to acknowledge. And one of the biggest surprises on the team, besides, of course, some might say Norman Powell, but Norman Powell is just a scorer anyway. We already knew that, even when he's coming off the bench. But to me, one of the biggest underrated surprises for the Clippers have been Chris Dunn. Chris Dunn has been a knockdown shooter. He has played very good defense. He has been an on-ball defender, unlike they've had in a guard ever, and it's just really like doing a domino effect on everybody else. I mean, like I said, they added Derrick Jones Jr., so he's already a perimeter defender. And Nico Batum, I'm surprised he's still got a few, a little bit of gas left in the tank, playing the way he's playing. So, I mean, like I said, I don't think nobody should count this team out. I really don't. And like I said, if Kawhi gets right, when he comes back, and if he can stay healthy, I mean, I like their chances of being a contender the same way I did last year when they had more talent. I really do. So the Clippers, honestly, the way they look right now, even without Kawhi Leonard, if they had Kawhi Leonard, I don't think they'd be missing a beat. I don't think they would be like they would be like the fourth or fifth seed right now in the West with Kawhi Leonard in their back pocket. You know what I mean? They would be that right now if he was out there playing. The same thing they were last year, the fourth or the fifth seed going into the playoffs. So, you took away Russell Westbrook, you took away, or, however you want to say it, they're gone. Russell Westbrook's gone. Paul George is gone. And they're playing with a lot more intensity. They're playing with a lot more edge. And every single night, it looks like they're playing like they're concise on what their game plan is. And you've heard me say, if you've been watching my channel throughout the years, you've heard me say in the past, they look discombobulated at times offensively and things like that. But honestly, this year, without Paul George and all the rigmarole and BS out there and all the hoopla around them, they just really look like a solid team. They look like a hungry team, and they look like a team that's never going to give up no matter what the lead or the score is on the scoreboard. And that's what you want in a team when you're trying to build, good habits. When you're building good habits, you're winning, or you're playing well enough to get wins or put yourself in position to win. And that's all the Clippers want right now, especially without their superstar in Kawhi. But they still got a star player in James Harden, and I think I got to give him some credit too. He's been assisting the ball, he's been getting guys engaged, he's been putting guys in position as much as he can to score. And the fact that he's still a threat at the 3-point line and everybody knows him as a scorer as always, it makes defenses lag off a little bit, because you don't want to leave James Harden out there because he can get hot. We know that. So it's like, when teams play the Clippers, they're really probably more or less confused, because it's like, okay, who do we guard tonight? Because they have a pretty good offensive system, good enough to win games. And they have very good defense enough to stifle our offense. So we need to attack them this way, but we need to try to figure out what their weakness is. And it's hard to figure out the Clippers' weakness because, like I said, they're doing it by committee. It's really not one guy. So when you look at it from that view, it just makes them a really, really good team right now, a really, really good, solid team. And that's all they need to be going forward, a really good, solid team until they get their main guy back. And when they get Kawhi back, I really think a lot of teams are not going to want to see this team in the playoffs if Kawhi can stay healthy when the playoffs start. So we'll see what happens and everything. But leave any comments in the comment section, and we'll talk about it.